the first words that bound them in the windswept town of Havenport, where the sea sang lullabies and the cliffs stood like silent sentinels. James Callahan was a fisherman whose life revolved around the ebb and flow of the tides. His hands were calloused from hauling nets, his eyes a stormy gray-green that mirrored the ocean he loved. He was a man of few words, his heart tethered to the sea, until the day Olivia Harper arrived and turned his world into a canvas of color. Olivia, a painter with a spirit as vibrant as her art, had fled the city's noise for Havenport's quiet shores, seeking solace after a broken engagement. Her auburn hair caught the sunlight like fire, and her sketches, bursting with blues and golds, captured the soul of the coast. She rented a weathered cottage by the beach, her easel facing the horizon where she painted the sea's moods from dawn to dusk. It was the summer solstice festival, Havenport's liveliest day when their paths crossed. The town square buzzed with laughter, music, and the scent of grilled fish. Stalls lined the cobblestone streets, and Olivia's art display drew a crowd. Her latest painting, a vivid depiction of the harbor at sunrise, with golden light kissing the waves, stood proudly on an easel. James, who rarely lingered at festivals, paused, transfixed. The painting wasn't just a picture. It was a sea he knew, alive with hope and mystery. He stood there, hands in his pockets, staring longer than he meant to. Olivia, wiping paint from her fingers, noticed the tall, quiet man with salt-streaked boots and a face carved by wind and worry. She approached, her smile warm but curious. "You've been staring at my painting for 10 minutes," she said, her voice light like a breeze carrying laughter. "Care to tell me what you see?" Those were her first words to him, and they caught James off guard. He wasn't used to talking, let alone to someone whose eyes sparkled like the sea under noon sun. He cleared his throat, his voice low and hesitant. "It's like you stole the dawn from the sea and put it here." His words, simple but raw, surprised even him. Olivia's smile widened, and something unspoken passed between them. A spark, like the first flicker of a lighthouse beam. "I'm Olivia," she said, extending a paint-smudged hand. "And you're James," he replied, taking her hand, his rough fingers brushing hers. "James Callahan." That exchange, those first words, became the cornerstone of their love. Olivia, intrigued by his quiet intensity, invited him to sit by her stall. James, usually guarded, found himself talking about the sea, the way it whispered secrets at night, the storms he'd faced. Olivia listened, sketching him absent-mindedly, her pencil tracing the lines of his jaw, the weight in his eyes. She told him about her city life, her love for colors, and how Havenport felt like a place to start over. By the time the festival's lanterns glowed under the stars, they were no longer strangers. Their connection grew slowly, like waves carving a shore. James began visiting her cottage, leaving small treasures, perfect scallop shell, a piece of sea glass, by her door. Olivia, in turn, painted him a small canvas of his boat, the tide's promise, capturing its weathered beauty. Their first words had opened a door, and through it flowed a tentative, then fierce love. But life in Havenport wasn't without storms. One autumn, a gale battered the coast, and James was out at sea, his boat caught in the tempest. Olivia, haunted by the memory of his first words, his reverence for the sea, stood by her window, clutching the sea glass he'd given her. She painted through the night, a lighthouse against a roiling sky, willing him home. When James returned, battered but alive, he found her in her studio, paint on her cheeks, the canvas glowing with hope.
Olivia's paintings adorned their home, each one a memory of their journey. James carved her initials into his boat's helm, a quiet vow. They faced hardships, lean fishing seasons, Olivia's doubts about her art, but their first words remained a touchstone, a reminder of the moment they saw each other truly. On their 5th anniversary, under the same cliffs where they'd later marry, James surprised Olivia with a small boat he'd built, painted in her favorite shade of turquoise. "For us to chase the dawn together," he said. Olivia laughed, tears in her eyes, and kissed him. "You're still stealing my dawn, James Callahan." Their love wasn't perfect, but it was enduring. Those first words at the festival, "What do you see?" had been more than a question. They were an invitation to